Hi YouTube and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do an unboxing of the Airfix 1/48 scale quad bikes and crew kit that they released a few years ago for the Operation Herrick in Afghanistan. So without further delay we shall get straight into the box artwork, which shows two quad bikes along with a couple of Merlins on the front, nicely rendered. You then have a picture on the side showing the four figures, the two quad bikes with trailers, because you do get two quad bikes in this kit, along with just a size comparison for the actual size of the 1/48 scale figures that come with this kit. The box itself has some warning information on the other side. It says here that it's ideal for people that are aged 8 or over, although younger modelers like myself when I was a kid could certainly do this with the help of an adult. And then obviously Hornby's address. On the sides is just on the ends is just a repeat of the top artwork. On the other side is a list of paint numbers from Humbrol, along with a flying hours token, and then again a closer view of the models in their completed states. On the back it shows you the models completed, along with some basic information about the vehicles themselves. Now, opening up the box, I was actually very pleasantly surprised to find that Airfix had actually placed everything into a tray. Now this I like for the very simple reason being is that it helps prevent crush damage to your model kit prior to your purchase. It helps protect the small parts. Some of them can be quite delicate and could easily be broken if the box was crushed. So this helps prevent that from happening. And then inside the box you have your Airfix Modelers Club information sheet, the instruction sheet, and then there is the sprues for the figures and the two sprues, which is just basically two of the same of the quad bikes. So let's have a quick look at the instructions. We have a decal sheet with some what appear to be vehicle registration numbers on. And the instruction sheet itself is in an A4 booklet format. The diagrams within are very detailed, and as they've started doing on a lot of their newer kits, many of the previously assembled items are highlighted in a separate colour for when you need to add them into the next stage of the build. So for the quad bike you're looking at approximately 13 stages for build, and then there are 5 stages, 6, 7, 8, and then there's approximately 8 stages for the build on the trailer. And the trailer includes these sand channels for getting the vehicle out of soft sand should it become stuck. The thing I find most interesting is the inclusion of a stretcher, and I'm sure that there is the potential for these to be used as casualty evacuation. However, having been in the Army Reserve before and taken part in casualty simulation exercises, petite mash exercises with field hospitals, etc. I think if I was a wounded soldier, I wouldn't appreciate being jostled and bumped about on the back of a trailer on a stretcher. I'd rather just be carried to the extraction point rather than be put on something which potentially could be severely uncomfortable and possibly even make an injury worse with too much movement on the trailer over rough ground. But that's just my feelings. We then come into the figure build, which is fairly straightforward, and then on the back of this instruction booklet we have the figures and a painting guide. Now, the thing I like about this painting guide is that Airfix have included 3 ways of painting the figures. So we have the Desert DPM, which was seen in the first Gulf War and at the start of the Afghan and Iraq campaigns. We have the European or temperate climate disruptive pattern material camouflage, which was the standard camouflage pattern for British Army combat uniforms for a very long time, certainly through the late 70s, the 80s, 90s and into the early 2000s. And then we have the European MTP camouflage pattern, which is multi-terrain pattern camouflage, which, as I understand it, was scientifically developed to take into account, they looked at all the different environments that a soldier would be required to fight in. They then extrapolated all the colours that were common to all of those environments and combined them in a camouflage uniform, which then they came up with the MTP pattern, and it is supposed to be, as it says, multi-terrain. So you should be able to go from lush forested areas into a more sparse, sandy, desertized area without too many compromises in the way that the camouflage assists in helping to hide your location or make observation on you more difficult. So that was something which came in during the Iraq and Afghan campaigns. So those are the instructions. We then have a separate A4 paint guide for the quad bikes, which is fairly straightforward. My own personal feeling is that I tend not to go completely by the paint guides. I use alternative paints when I'm doing my models, so long as I've got a paint which closely resembles the guide, I'm happy. So looking to the kits themselves, I will start off with the figures, and the figures themselves are nicely moulded. They come in several pieces, mainly the body, the torso, legs as one, and then the arms and head separately. I'm rather disappointed that there is only one figure with a rifle. I know from experience that just because you're riding a quad bike, it doesn't mean that you wouldn't have a rifle. Your personal weapon stays with you at all times. So as far as I'm concerned, these other soldiers within this kit should still have been supplied with a weapon, which could either have been put onto the quad bike, or because of the sling system on the SA-80 weapon system, it could have been posed to be running down their back in a backpack style sling attachment. So the figures themselves are very nicely detailed, and they all appear to be wearing standard PLCE kit, with one of them, the stand-in figure here, possibly having some ammunition pouches on his plate armour. Now, as I said, the quad bike kit is basically 2 sprues the same, and you get the bike and the trailer on 1 sprue. So if we look at this, again, the detail is absolutely fantastic. There's recessed panel lines as well as proud detail, and the engine bay and vehicle chassis comes in several parts along with the steering. I do believe there is an option to be able to model the wheels either turned or straight, and there are a small amount of accessories that go on this, such as a line of ammo boxes and some other bits and pieces. But these are the sand channels for traversing soft areas, and when we flip it over you'll see that there's only two wheels here really that come as two separate halves. The others, which I believe these are for the quad bike themselves, and then these here are for the trailer. These are the only ones which require assembly. So all in all, the kit itself looks very good. I'm keen to get it started. I do have another model that I need to finish first, and once I've done that I will look to be cracking on with this. So I hope that you will join me at a later stage to get this done. Okay, thanks very much. Bye bye.